Alright, welcome back. I really hope you've been enjoying our videos up to this point. Have you guys noticed something? During all of these videos where we've showed you the disassembly of different phone models, and even in the videos that we showed you via the different public videos that we linked as sort of complimentary videos to the videos that we provided and the videos that we made, I'm sure you've been following along like we've asked you to, and I'm sure you've been practicing, and I'm sure you've become an expert at disassembling most of these phones. But as you're disassembling it, have you asked the question, or have you ever wondered, what is this piece that I'm taking off? Like when you're removing the front camera from the Galaxy S3, for example, did you ever ask yourself, why am I removing this? Probably. Have you ever asked yourself, what does this do, or what is this part responsible for? This section is going to cover that. So in this brief section, we're going to go over the identification of all of these micro parts that you just took apart while you were disassembling it. This is a really important part of the course because not only is disassembling it important where you get to become aware of the assembly of the phone and the structure of the phone and even become aware of some of the micro parts. This section is really important because now you get to identify those micro parts and learn what they're responsible for. This all helps us into our next third segment, which is the diagnosis of the phones. Now once we know how to disassemble and reassemble the phone fairly easily, and once we're able to once we're able to identify certain micro parts that were on the phone that we just disassembled, which is what we're going to cover in this section, then the next section, which is diagnosis, almost comes automatically. It's really easy because if you think about it, once there's a certain issue with the phone, then already you kind of have a rough idea after you've been able to identify and locate what each micro part is and where it is. Then it's not going to be that hard for you to determine what part needs to be replaced. So this section is going to be rather brief, and in our next section we're going to go into a little bit more detail as to how we take an issue at hand, right? How when a customer walks into your store, or whoever, whether it's a friend or family member, walks in and says, hey, I'm having this issue with my phone, how you can take that and use your experience from disassembling a phone and from identifying certain micro parts, be able to come to the conclusion that it's this particular part that's causing the issue, or it's this particular piece that needs to be replaced, or whether it just simply can't or can be replaced, or whether or not this phone can actually be fixed. So this is a pretty important part. We hope that you don't just skim through it. Watch the videos. It's pretty important. We're going to show you some parts on the macro level, such as the front-facing camera, the loudspeaker, the front speaker, the microphones and whatnot. And then we're also going to be doing a little bit more on the micro parts, such as the resistors and what they do, and what the antenna looks like, and what you're looking for when you disassemble it and reassemble it, and where what is located and where that is located. So pay attention. It's just going to be a brief section, maybe about 4 or 5 videos where you get to learn what each micro part is, the same micro parts that you were taking apart when you were disassembling in the first section, so you can get more familiar now with each micro part and not just the phone. And again, that's really important because once we get to the next section, which is diagnosis, we'll be fully equipped to be able to identify what the problem is and what's causing the problem, what needs to be replaced, and even if it can't or cannot be fixed. So stay tuned. We really hope that you enjoy this section.